About 2.5 years ago, I went for an annual physical, and my physician, as I was leaving, said, "Do you have any concerns?" And I said, "I was losing my hearing. I felt like I wasn't my right side." So she sent me to a local audiologist up in Concord just to, she said she did one of those little tests in the office and said maybe about 25%, but that's not unusual based on your age. So I said, "Well, do you think we need to follow up?" She said, "Well, I'd like to, just to be sure." Went to a local audiologist, and he said, "She's right. You've lost about 25%, but that's not unusual given that you're over the big 50. However, I watched you walk in and you walked in crooked." I said, "I did?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Are you having balance issues?" And I go, "Well, not to my knowledge, and if I am, I'm compensating very well for them." So he did a few more tests, said he would like me to go to an ear specialist, which I did down in Manchester at the Elliott Hospital. He did an MRI because he couldn't find anything on the exterior. Come to find out that I had a meningioma. The MRI showed that I had a brain tumor. And I remember when they first showed it to me, it looked like just a big white golf ball in my head. And I said, "What is that thing?" They said, "Well, that's what we really don't know. It could be one of two things. It could either be a tumor that's called an acoustic neuroma, which means it's wrapped around the acoustic nerves, or it could be a tumor that's called a meningioma, which is on the lining of the brain. So until we get in there, we won't know." And as it turned out, mine was a meningioma that was also wrapped around the acoustic nerves. So I got a little bit of both. When they did tell me that I had the brain tumor, it was like, oh, it was like an out-of-body experience. It's like, this must be happening to someone else. It's not happening to me. And in fact, I had to pull my car over to the side of the road right after that, and I just sat and cried. He said, "You have two choices. You can either go to Mass General. I have some great friends there. I also have some great friends up at Dartmouth-Hitchcock." Well, given the fact that we really don't like to drive in Boston if we can avoid it, I said, "Why don't we try Dartmouth-Hitchcock first?" He put me in touch with Kadir Erkmen, who was the neurosurgeon that I worked with. I was ready to sign the papers the day I met him. He was just fabulous. He put me at ease. He explained everything. And he said, "Really, Eveleen, until we get in there, we really don't know what we're dealing with." After the surgery, I was actually in the hospital for approximately 10 days. The first 3 days plus were intensive care, and I know nothing about that. They kept me under because I was so ill, and every time they tried to bring me out, I got ill again. So I think it was harder on my family than it was on me. Then from there, I was transferred to what they call a specialized care unit, which is on the 5th floor. And the nurse's station is in the middle, and all of the rooms are right around there, so you have constant care. And the nurses were wonderful. I couldn't sleep well. They gave me a back rub. They just were just wonderful. And then from there, after about 3 days there, I got to go to a private room for 3 days. So it was kind of like, 3 sections of care. And all the way through, I had PT people coming in, helping me learn how to walk up and down a flight of stairs with these little mini stairs. I had people teaching me how to swallow again. I had what they called dysphagia, where I could not swallow any solid food. They were teaching me how to cut up my food, how to turn my head to swallow. But there were nutritionists coming in. There were all kinds of PT people coming in. So the care was wonderful from start to finish. When we came up to Dartmouth, all my family said, "Oh, there's no traffic. It's just wonderful." And where I was in my room on the 5th floor, I could look out and see butterflies and deer and bunnies. I said it was like a Bambi movie. It was wonderful. And it was, I think, seeing the forest and everything, it was just very, very peaceful. And I think that really did help with my care and with my healing. I love the idea that Dartmouth-Hitchcock does have all the doctors online. So the first thing I did, of course, was look up Kadir Erkmen online. And I wanted to see what his credentials were. And my family kept saying, "Oh, come to Boston, because, those are the best doctors." Well, Kadir Erkmen did his residency at Brigham and Women's, but he's practicing up at Dartmouth. And I said to my sister, "Well, I have a Boston doctor, but I have him in a nice setting." So there, my team, I feel like they're just all in this big pen for me. And they just all know what's going on, and each one of them keeps the other informed. And that just makes me feel really good that I don't have to repeat my story 50 times to 5 or 6 different offices, that they're all right there working for me. Advice that I would give to anyone, and this coming from someone who was extremely healthy 2 years ago, is listen to your body. Make sure that if something isn't right, that you do follow up on it, because I had just had a balance issue. I mean, I attributed that to old age or something. And I am so glad that, we took the steps to go forward with that. And, sometimes I've heard people say no news is good news, but, my melanoma, I never thought it was a melanoma. So it was a very good thing that I followed up and did what the doctor said. So as much as we don't sometimes want to know what's going on, I think it's very important that we do follow what our body is telling us. And at the same time, that we trust in the people that are out there. Dartmouth-Hitchcock has been fabulous. And I thoroughly and implicitly trust any advice that they give me. And I would send anybody here anytime.